Creativity. That has come up a lot in the last few days. And as an entrepreneur, you have to be creative, right? Creative with your marketing, with your sales strategy, with your finances. And if it's not fun, you shy away from it because we were meant to have fun. And it's all about balance. And that's why I am partnering with two incredible ladies to bring you wellness, visibility, and wealth. This is going to be a interactive experience where you're going to find out exactly what you need to do to scale your business so you can hit your profit margin goal while taking care of number one. Join the Smell of Money. The link is in the show notes. This is where we're going to kick off this event on August. Cash flow, confidence, wealth. Welcome to iDateMoney. If you're making money but still wondering where it all went, if you're ready to organize your cash flow, build confidence with money, and create lasting wealth, you're in the right place. I'm Lisa Drennon, Wealth Activator, creator of the Money Multiplier System, and founder of the Smell of Money community. If you're a multi-passionate female entrepreneur who's making money but not building wealth, this podcast is for you. Each week, you'll discover practical strategies to organize your cash flow, keep more of what you earn, eliminate debt, and build lasting wealth with confidence. So grab your favorite essential oil, take a deep breath, and let's sniff our way to cash flow, confidence, and wealth. Of 2026. So welcome back to the show. Today, we are going to spend some time talking, I'm sure, about insurance because all of you don't have any. You drive me nuts. You think that we can run our business without insurance because I can't afford it. And then you think, oh, I want to invest in something. And then you don't know what to invest in. So you don't. And you go into the circle. So we're going to be spending time with Thomas Cox, who is the founder of Cox Capital and the host of the Owner's Table podcast. He helps business owners, real estate investors, and high income earners build more control over their capital through infinite banking. Have you heard of that term? I just heard about it today. The private lending and cash flow focused wealth strategies that help you when you scale your business and you have all this extra money, instead of blowing it, you get to invest it. So welcome, Thomas. Thank you so much for being here. We're just ready to dive in and tap into your knowledge. So first, tell us, what was the money story you told yourself before you became an owner and got involved in this infinite banking strategy?
That's great. Hey, thank you, Lisa. So I grew up in a middle class home. Dad was a football coach. Mom was a school teacher. Parents always argued about money. And I realized at a very, very early age, I did not want to do that. I did not want to argue about money with my spouse or period. So fast forward, go to college. I play college football. And if I was not playing, I was working. I enjoy work, probably to a fault sometimes. And so I made money during college, which is really, really odd. So I was blessed enough to have a scholarship, so I didn't have to pay for college. But I left college with probably $10,000 or $12,000 in the bank. So let's backtrack a little bit. So when I graduated from high school, here in the great state of Sweet Home, Alabama, you send out graduation invitations and people send you money. It's just the way the culture is here. And so graduated from high school, got about $2,000. Spent $1,000 on I don't even know what, and then spent another $1,000 and put it in the market. A guy named Roger Chandler in my church come up and said, "Give me $1,000 and I'll put it in the market." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." Then he said, "Send me $25 a month and have it auto drafted." And I said, "Okay." So I did that. And so fast forward, my dream was to coach college football. So I coached college football for about 10 years. Really felt like the Lord leading us out of that. So got let out of that, even though I really enjoyed it. So up until this point, had no debt at all, and then get out of coaching. Started working in a small church, and then a guy walked into my office at the church and said, "Can you help me with a meal plan?" So I have some food knowledge back in my brain just from many years of doing different things. And so that's a totally different story itself. And then, so I started making meal plans. This is back before you could find a meal plan for free online, on your phone within 30 seconds. So I was doing it before that. So we had clients, clients in 27 different countries doing meal plans. It was wonderful. Grew that business, but I grew the business because of frugality. So took a huge pay cut when I went to work at the church and then started this business, made $8,000 the first year as a side hustle doing meal plans for people. The next year I made $80,000 doing the same process for people. And then after year 2, I decided to go out and not have 2 jobs. And the business doubled for every year for about 3 or 4 years. And so it was a great thing. And at that point I was unemployable. Never wanted to go back to having to work for somebody again. So fast forward, I was in the food business for many, many years and loved it. But that food business helped us create profit. And so back before, you guys on here don't know, but Lisa and I talked about what she does and what Profit First is. And I adopted Profit First by Mike Malkowitz through a buddy of mine in the city I lived in Tennessee named, he owned a coffee shop, and he just came in one day and Jeremy Crabtree said, you ought to try this. And so I did. And look, here we are 15 years later, and I still operate through Profit First. It's a wonderful system. And so we've done that through our business journey. And so it's been a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. We were in the food business, and I was in the catering business, and I still own those 2 companies today. So I own 2 different catering companies. One is like everyday catering. One is really high-end catering, but I also feed a small college. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I overhired. My kids were starting to get to the age where I need to be in sports and things like that. Sports is a big part of our lives. So I overhired. When I overhired, my business started to slowly grow, and that was fine. I was fine with slow growth in that business because I knew that there was a ceiling on that. And that's really counterintuitive to what you believe. Whole different story for a whole different day. But that business grows about 5 to 8% a year, and I'm super happy with that. I really, really am. Let me backtrack a little bit. 2017, I started buying apartment complexes. So today I own 3 different apartment complexes, and that's what I used along with my dollar cost averaging in the market. Like I still do. That's where we put some of our money. Is we have money in the different apartment complexes. So as I started to pull myself out of my business and leveling off what I was making so I could inject, hire better people and all those different things, I started getting involved more in the real estate and the finance world, and got introduced by this thing called Infinite Banking by a guy named Justin Kraft. Well, Justin told me about it, and then it's like a light bulb went off, and I started to see how magical this thing could be for investors and business owners and high W-2 people like the doctors, lawyers, veterinarians of the world, dentists of the world. Great for them. But infinite banking is not for you if you don't have excess income. Like, you're not going to do $300 or $400 a month and it be like magical for you. This is an investment. You are putting money into a savings vehicle that you are going to use in and out like a bank. And so I got involved in that world. And I'm going to be honest with you, Lisa, it opened up my eyes to so many different things from a financial standpoint. And absolutely love being in that space, number one. Absolutely love the money's good. But number 3 is I really, really enjoy all that it can do for us as a family. It's absolutely wonderful. It allows us to, again, take back that banking function in our life.
Wow, that's incredible. So infinite banking is a system, it's a strategy of an investment tool. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So a lot of people have heard about IULs, which is Index Universal Life Insurance. We do a product called with a whole life. So what that is we use a whole life insurance product, and we buy as little a death benefit as possible and then load as much cash into that insurance policy. We, in essence, are making the insurance company our back office. They are our back office for all things insurance, all things that we want to do, but also they allow us to have a banking function in our life. So we can borrow from that policy, the cash that grows in that policy at a guaranteed rate. We can then borrow from that money and then use that for whatever we want to do, all while that money continues to grow. So a great example is this: $300,000 into my policy. That policy continues to grow. I borrowed $200,000 out to do a real estate deal. When that money comes back from my real estate deal, I can inject the money and the interest back into the policy, but the whole time it's still growing at $300,000. It is a banking function. It's a wonderful, wonderful banking function, and it's been so instrumental in our wealth building career.
Interesting. I'm from the old school where insurance products and UL whole life is final expense. We sell insurance as final expense. So using it as an investment vehicle is, for us people who, been around in that era where insurance was just used for final expense, it's a different way of thinking. So that strategy of investing, and I get the cash surrender value, borrowing it, because we always had that. Like in 1984, when I bought my first insurance policy, it was, you can use a cash surrender value to go to college, to do this, to do that. You save money for that for your kids. And I know when I sell whole life to kids, they have that that ability. I know in the industry now, on my team of 40 brokers, a lot of them are getting into selling products like that because you can use that money to pay down debt faster and rather have yourself borrow from your own cash surrender value versus borrowing from a bank for a consolidation loan, which is going to have a higher interest rate. So why not pay that self for your interest? So I definitely see the value of it. But you had said something very important. You have to have that excess income. So in your experience with having that excess income, do you find a lot of people want to utilize their savings and investment strategy that way? Or do you find it more so that they are like, well, wouldn't it be better to go buy real estate, to buy an Airbnb and to invest in property versus that?
To that, I say this. It's not a if, it's an and. It's not an either or, it's an and asset. So the question is do both. So have this pool of capital that can...
Answering the question about the difference between investing in a real estate versus this insurance policy, the whole life. What would be the better? And you were saying how you should do both and then you cut off.
So it is an and asset. This is not something that you do in place of. This is an and asset. So one of the examples that me and my partner give all the time is like Walmart has these things called distribution centers where all the stuff comes into this one place. They don't make any money on the distribution center. They don't. Okay. So like Lisa's not going to that Walmart distribution center and buying, toilet paper and chicken. She's just not. But what the distribution center does, it makes everything in the whole system so much more efficient. Okay. Dollars go to this one place. They start to earn. I borrow even while they're earning and put that money to work. So let me give you another great example. So a partner of mine had $400,000 in a policy. He bought 2 condos down in Auburn, which is a college town really close to where we live. Those condos, he bought them in cash. Those condos rent out for $2,400 a month each. So he's got 2 of them. I think he paid like $350,000 for 2 of them. With that $4,800 a month after his insurance, all that stuff, he takes that money and puts it directly back into his policy. So where he made a $350,000 purchase, those 2 condos will be paid off in 7.5 years. Number one. Number two is during that process, he made $83,000 of gained interest in his policy during the time when his money was out working. So not only did he make $83,000, but he paid it off with interest in 7.5 years. So the power of that mechanism, the power of that vehicle is absolutely wonderful. So another example is we've got a guy here in Birmingham who owns an HVAC business. He only grosses about $900,000 a year, pays himself $60,000, but he loads $40,000 a year into that policy. And that is his bank so that he can pay for trucks, pay for equipment, pay for different things like that. And he uses that. He also pays his kids, which you've talked about. He also pays his kids and he has policies on each kid. So I could go on and on giving examples of like how this thing works and why it's so good. But you have to understand the concept, and it's not easy. It's not easy to understand, but you just get someone like myself to explain it. And if you can understand it, it's really life-giving.
Yeah, knowledge is power. I know a lot of entrepreneurs shy away from insurance because they don't understand the terminology and the ins and outs, and having someone explain that to you is really important in any kind of investment in your company. A lot of the entrepreneurs that are listening to this show right now like to invest money back into their business in hopes that will increase their profit margin. What would you say to them?
But what does that freaking mean, Lisa? Like everybody says that when they go spend money they shouldn't spend. That's what they're saying. I'll put it back in my business. No, what does that really mean? Seriously, unpack that for me, Rick, so that you can tell me what putting the money back in your business. Is it buying your new truck? Is that it? Is it taking your family on a vacation to write it off? Like I do all that stuff too, but I got money to do it with. I'm not trying to make extra. So like, what does that mean? Putting the money back in your business is for employees that make your life better and make your business better. That's it. Number two would be any sort of marketing campaign that you know is going to give a return. So, for example, Facebook ads. I just use Meta ads. Meta ads are great if they work properly, but you've got to be patient. Like if you're getting a 25 or 30-day return on your money with Meta ads, you've unlocked something. Those things take time and take months. That's the second thing. The third thing that you put your money back into, is there a piece of equipment legitimately that is going to help you make more money because it does more volume faster or something more efficient? Honestly, now you could probably prove me wrong, but those are the 3 categories that you need to be spending money. If money's not going into those 3 categories, you don't freaking need to spend it. Pay yourself what you deserve and what you can use to live by. And then from there, you need to allocate some money for profit like you speak about, but also how can I take some of the money that I've earned and put that somewhere where it's going to bring back some friends? Like, it's very, very rare that a business owner has just flush excess capital. That money needs to go do something. You having in your bank account so you can say you have who cares? Who gives 2 flying craps about that? Get your money out there. The purpose of money's a tool. It can be used for good or it can be used for evil. It's totally up to you. So how can you use that thing for good? I hope that answers your question. But I get my 2 pet peeves are this, and you've already used it once, is balance. There is no balance. There's no balance. Like, you need to be going in one direction and then going in another direction. So when I'm half in my business and half at home, I'm not very good at either. So I got to I can't be balanced. I have to be going in one direction. That's the first thing. The second thing is putting it all back in my business. People just like to say that. That's a fancy buzzword. That means I'm just spending my money aimlessly.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yes, it is. It's funny because, entrepreneurs who are new in their business, we all start at zero. And so many people think they need to spend all this money, let's run meta ads, let's do this, let's do that. There's a point in your business where that's a good time. Like, like you said, it needs time to work. And we don't want to start. I know business owners who have grown completely organically. They've never spent a dime on advertising. Word of mouth referrals, I always like to say, are our best friends. But when you step into your zone of genius and you're actually doing what you love, the money actually comes. And you're right. Money is a tool. And when we, keep going after all these shiny objects and we take money and we think that we're investing it back into our business, like you had said, you're not. You're just spending your money trying to justify it. And one of my pet peeves is when your tax person tells you to, end of the year, go spend money because you're going to be paying taxes. Pay your taxes. They do a lot of good. And no one likes to pay the taxes, but with a profit first system, we account for that money as part of our, expense. So it's really important to have that plan in place, that strategy, so that you can build the wealth, so you can have that security and you can be able to do what you want to do with your finances because you have that wealth multiplying for you. You have that extra income going to a place where it's making money for you and it's not just being utilized to spend, because we all are really good at spending money, but whether or not we spend it in a way that's going to help us grow and do good things, that's always dependent upon our choices. And it all starts with our thoughts, which are the most powerful tool that we have. So to wrap things up here, tell us if you can give an entrepreneur who's, say, 2 to 3 years on their journey, which is a lot of the listeners that we have, what advice would you give them to help them scale to the next level?
Live below your means. Make sure that your family's on board for the ride and know that it's not going to be easy. Have margin. If COVID didn't show us anything at all, you've got to have margin in your business. You've got to have savings or a warehouse of capital to lean on in times of the crazy, because the times of crazy are coming. No matter what your business is, times are coming when things get crazy. Spend your money on people that are smarter than you. Like, if you're the smartest guy in the room, get another freaking room. Like, I could probably go on and on. Those are the things off the top of my head that there's a lot of things I would change that I didn't do or would have done a better job of. Those things that I just mentioned, I did a decent job at that. I just did a couple of them too late, but those are the things off the top of my head that I would give to. And I talk to business owners every day. I get asked weekly about what they should do, and just know that they're getting themselves into a very long and tumultuous ride.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Tell our audience, what's the best way for them to connect with you if they want to know more about the infinite banking?
Sure. My website is thomascox.co, thomascox.co. And that's the handle for all of our platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, whatever you want to, whatever your flavor is. We're on all of those platforms. So, but thomascox.co is the best spot to get us.
Well, thank you so much again for sharing your expertise. For those of you listening, if you're curious, you have that excess income. Instead of blowing it on nothing, let's think about investing it strategically so that you can multiply your money and grow your wealth. Because remember, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's what you do with it. If today's episode helped you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another entrepreneur who's ready to build wealth with confidence. And if you're ready to go deeper, come join us inside The Smell of Money, where we turn these conversations into action. Before you go, grab your favorite essential oil, take one deep breath in, and slowly exhale. Breathe in cash flow, exhale overwhelm. Breathe in confidence, exhale doubt. Breathe in wealth and trust the woman you're becoming. Until next time, cash flow, confidence, wealth. This is Lisa Drennon, and you've been listening to iDateMoney. Keep trusting yourself, one money move at a time.